Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. We're having a short live get together here simultaneously with YouTube friends and TikTok friends. Hopefully, we can somehow later on add Instagram as well. So let's see who we have here tonight. As usual, we talk about thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego. We talk about inner movement of the psyche in regards to relationships, breakups, what makes you stay there, what is it that you have to do to come out of that mode, negative mode, disappointing mode, and be able to continue your events and your tasks and your daily responsibilities and be assured and learn how to you can move on and look for bigger and better things. We also are open to discuss matters that has to do with OCD subsets, negative thoughts, repetitive thoughts, intrusive thoughts, and we discuss findings and research of scholars and psychotherapists. We discuss from philosophical point of view, from Aristotle time to the modern neuroscience that has been proving that you're not the brain and brain is not you. And we discuss their experiments in to the tune of helping you to understand that you're above your brain, and what brain conjures up is just nothing but hoopla. So you'll learn don't not to be so much affected by intrusive thoughts and how you can rewire the brain to its default setting. So having said all that, we're open for discussion. Our YouTube friends and TikTok friends can put their questions down there, and I'll do my best to open the discussion for us and answer what I can. Let's see who we have here. It would be great if you TikTok friends, like the YouTube participants, let me know three things: your gender, M for male, F for female, or however you signify your inclination, and then your age. So, for example, M for male, age, I don't know, 32, and then where you tuning in from, let's say Los Angeles or um, Helsinki or wherever it is, UK, wherever it is. So these three things will help me to know your age, where you are in the stage of life, and how I can address you. And at the same time, I would know how far we're reaching, what's the demographics, and so on and so forth. So I'd appreciate if you guys, especially TikTok friends, do as I ask, because you usually don't, and that's disappointing. But my TikTok friends all actually do. So we have, for example, we have Chinmay from India. It says 22 male India. See, that's all there is. 22 M India, or M22 India, or F32 India, or whatever how you signify your inclination. So he says, "Good day, Mehran, sir." Thank you. He says, "Update on personal life. Visits to the psychotherapists along with medication have helped a lot with anxiety. I've also secured a college to pursue my master's degree. I'm proud of you. Good for you. Delighted to hear that. And always remember, in short terms, when you have anxiety, any time of the day, you can do a very simple thing. Use the pre-Butzinger complex is the system of your breathing, normal breathing, but then there's another system, parafacial nuclei, which helps you to manipulate this normal breathing. So in other words, when you are breathing normally, but you can also breathe when you are not in a normal situation, such as you're crying or you're laughing, but you can still breathe. So you manipulate your breathing rhythm using the other system of breathing. So nevertheless, it doesn't matter what the names are. This is what I want you to do. Whenever you feel anxiety, I want you to breathe in as much as you can. Don't exhale. Make another breath on top of it. So you're double breathing, one as much you can, and the other one, top it off. And then you wait a few seconds and you let it out through your nose or mouth slowly. And when you finish, you breathe normally and you do it again. And when you finish, you breathe normally. And if you want, you can do it again. And that is kind of similar to the shocks that psychotherapists give to someone who's totally depressed and out of it. And they want to give it a window for the brain to jog it out and get it out of that groove that is created by being depressed or anxious and so on and so forth. So this is how it's going to look like. You do it again. Breathe normally. Do it again. Breathe normally. You're so relaxed that you don't give a shit about anything. Forget anxiety. Like right now, I don't give a shit. There I am. It's like an amazing feeling. So you can also do that before any exam or anything that you want to go on a date, you're excited, you're anxious, you just do this. So all right, let's see what we have here from our TikTok friends. All right, we have, let's see if we have any questions here. We have Sona Guatam. Please let me know where you're tuning in from, how old you are, what your gender is. The three things. And Nahid Akhtar is here. That sounds like a Persian name. Welcome, all of you. And we have Nus something. I can't pronounce the rest of it. Label Steph or Label Steph. Matt Miller. Xavier is from Canada, all right? There was a hint there. Please do me a favor, guys and girls. Age, gender, where you're tuning in from. M, 22, Los Angeles. F, 55, France. Something of that sort. And let's see who we have here. Any question at all? Erica's here. Badassa is here. Badassa, is it short for badass? And Shazad is here. Kelly. Baby Yoda is here. Baby Yoda is also probably the same call letter is at my YouTube friends, subscribers. By the way, my YouTube channel is called The One Point. The, T-H-E, next word, O-N-E, one, next word, point, The One Point. Chicken Nugget is here. All right, that tells me a lot. Robert and what? All right. Let me see the ones I can pronounce. Harry Peterson is here. Henry Peterson is here. Michael is here. Hugh Califox. Rodney. My goodness, we've got lots of people, but no questions. Milan says, good day, sir. Good day, Milan. Milan, at least you probably have been to our YouTube channel. Do me a favor, put in your age, gender, where you're tuning in from. Let's see if one person does that on TikTok. And Samina is here. And at least you're all consistent. None of you even listen to what I ask. So thank you for your support and your cooperation. And Deep Duta is here. Deep Duta says, I'm 19 years old male from India, finally recovered from HOCD. Thank you so much, sir. You're quite welcome. My pleasure. I'm delighted that the videos have helped you. And remember, HOCD can come and go, and do not be freaking out. Do the same things you did before. It's just about reprogramming, rewiring the brain. And through the studies of neuroscientists and neurosurgeons, you get to know that you're not the brain, brain is not you. And the steps you got to take, like Dr. Schwartz explains, the 4 steps, and you rewire and retrain the brain, and you'll get back to your default setting. And Dan, good examples. Okay, Dan, good example. All right, thank you. But again, nobody cares what I say. All right, guys. Maybe you don't have any questions either, because if you do, I'm not gonna answer unless you guys do what I've asked, the little thing that I've asked. So let's see, what do we have here? We got hundreds of people on TikTok. None have a question and none actually comply to what I have asked. That's wunderbar. All right. So let's see what else we have here. The floor is open, guys. Any questions, throw it in. I'm not going to be lecturing tonight, so if you have a question, put it in. Otherwise, we have nothing to talk about, and I'll go on and say goodnight and have some tea and do other things. And Dylan says, lol, only 2 people here. No, there are hundreds of people here that it says joined. They're not 2 people, there are hundreds. And usually we have 500, 400, 700, depends on the evening. We haven't done this for a while, but once in a while I just feel like, you know, I should do it when there's a time that's allocated. Brooklyn Charles is here. Well, I don't know, maybe you guys don't even hear me. Crazy 1876 is here. Crazy 1876, could you please put in your age, gender, where you're tuning in from? 3 little things: your age, gender, and where you're tuning in from. Let's see if somebody will hear. Maybe you guys don't hear me. Maybe something wrong here, because it's just not everybody in YouTube, they do, and they're all familiar with the channel, and they do that. Samina says, I don't know subject, I speak French. Lol, oh, vous parlez français? Je ne parle pas français. So we're even. So look, the topic is about thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego. We talk about the inner movement of the psyche. We talk about how you can get away or come out of an emotional difficulty, emotional challenge, such as breakups. Your boyfriend or your girlfriend broke up with you, and you're, you know, disappointed. You don't know how to move on. You can't study. You can't do your work. You're depressed. And we talk about the events that is happening in your brain, how you're thinking, what angles you should look at it, and how you can regain your balance and move on to bigger and better things. We also talk about OCD and OCD subsets, such as HOCD, and we discuss about the neuroscience. We discuss about philosophical point of view, and we try to examine some of the experiments that the famous scholars and psychotherapists and neurosurgeons have done in order to show you're not the brain and brain is not you, and how to rewire your brain to the default setting, such as using the 4 steps of Dr. Schwartz. And we explained that, as I have explained it in over 3,000 videos on my YouTube channel. But we on live streams try to specifically discuss your questions that you might have about OCD, about thoughts, negative thoughts, repetitive thoughts, intrusive thoughts, about your relationships, about your breakup, and so on and so forth, which again, over 3,000 videos are available on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is The One Point, 3 words, THE, the ONE, 1 point, POINT, The One Point. And you'll be able to search on the search engine of my channel a topic, a word that is interesting, for you as far as your questions concerned, and you'll see how many videos are out there. So, and the title of the live stream also explains, Samina, what we are talking about. And Samina says, wow, thanks to explain so good. You're quite welcome. Mon plaisir, je vous en prie. And Adel or Adil joined, all right. Samina says, followed the live creator. Thank you very much for following, guys. And if you look at the TikTok right here, at the channel that you're watching live, we've got lots of short and long discussions on OCD, on HOCD, on breakups and emotional hardships and little movement of the psyche here and there, as much as we could cover in this short version of a few points of a topic. But on YouTube, we have long videos, short videos. We have lots of short ones. We have 5-minute ones, 10 minutes ones, 20, 30, 40, 45 minutes. There's one video that is about 45 minutes, and it's discussing the experiments of Dr. Schwartz. No, not Dr. Schwartz, and experiments of Dr. Sperry, Dr. Penfield, Dr. Owen, Dr. Leibet, the experiments they've done in the laboratory showing they're the neurosurgeons and neuroscientists, and they've operated on the brain over 1,000 times, and it on different levels it shows you how you can understand your brain better, and that the brain is not you, you're not the brain. And I've proven that through the videos and presentations that I've done, by the research that I've used, using quantum physics, using experiments that these famous scholars have done, so you can understand your brain better and be able to rewire it, and not to be duped and fooled by the brain when it comes up with something and you think, well, the brain says the brain knows it all. Brain doesn't know shit. So scientifically speaking. So now, let's see what else here. I wonder, other than Samina, nobody else is asking any questions. Or actually anything to say about this. And now I wonder, where did Dylan Saddleback or came up with the 2 people here? There are hundreds of people here. I wonder how that goes, because the number here shows me how many people are here. All right, let's go back to YouTube. Now we have Dub97 says, male M27 California. It says, is it California or Canada? One of the two, they're both CA. It says, do you deal with HOCD yourself? Thoughts, images? HOCD has got all kinds of criteria that you can be stuck on. So we deal with all of them, and over hundreds and hundreds of videos on the topic. And one way or another, we've all dealt with some kind of an OCD. Almost, intrusive thoughts in the brain happens to every single human being on Earth. There's about 80, 90,000 thoughts a day that's produced by your brain, but you're oblivious to them. Most of them that are not relevant to you, it's recognized by your system. Midbrain basal ganglia in the striatum, there's a lever called caudate nucleus. Its job is to shut down the intrusive thoughts, which are not in line with your values. But when it doesn't work, there's a glitch. So the prefrontal cortex sends a narrative based on the amygdala's overactiveness in order to protect you. But since there is no real actual danger signals that was in actuality produced, but amygdala just sends those because it's malfunctioning, and caudate nucleus is not there to judge the narrative that prefrontal cortex attaches to this signal, then it doesn't shut down. It hovers. Usually all these intrusive thoughts are shut down, closed by caudate nucleus, the lever. Its job is to shut down what's not in line with your values. But when it's not working and these things show up, it can't shut it down because it's not working. So if the lever is not working to shut it down, the thought hovers. And because it hovers, doesn't dissipate, you think, wrongfully so, oh, it must mean something because it's not disappearing. And the brain is smart. It knows more than I. So that's what it is. Then you go into that vortex of bullshit, and then you end up being very depressed. And these things constantly repeat themselves. And you don't realize that there's a glitch, mechanical glitch in the brain. And that's the part that we talked about, called it nucleus not malfunction, not functioning properly. Now, Karm Singh, 37, male, UK. Thank you for that. Let's see if we have anything here. Obviously not, as usual. We have TikTok is just observers, I guess. Maybe that's why I shouldn't even include TikTok for live. And well, guys, we've talked about 21 minutes. If there's not much questions tonight, you guys are not in the mood, we can do it some other time and I can get on with some other stuff. Trish liked the live. Thank you for that, Krish. If you guys, the least you can do is just like the live, at least we'll get the algorithm to our advantage. And I'd appreciate that. Tonight is actually quite quiet. Usually we have hundreds of people participating. Maybe it's because I haven't shown up for a while and you guys have forgotten that such channel exists, but we do. And Jaden Serenity. Jaden Serenity? All right. And everybody says join, but there's no questions here. Mm-hmm. All right. And Massive, All Massive says, are you married? Okay, no. What a question. That's all? You came here all this time, you waited to ask that question. Don't forget, guys, age, gender, where you're tuning in from. So at least tells me a little bit about you and how far we're reaching, where in the world, and where you guys are showing up from. I'd appreciate it. All right, I'll hang around for another 7 minutes, and if you don't have any question, I will just cut it short tonight, and you guys can get to do other things, and I'll do some other things before I hit the sack. It's 5 minutes after 1 a.m. here in Canada, Vancouver, and I have no idea where you guys are. Special TikTok friends have not indulged, have not been favoring my request to let me know anything about themselves, and that's unfortunate. With my YouTube friends, we have a pretty good community. We get to know each other in a way, and they have all relied on the videos and enjoyed the things that was discussed on the videos, and also the lives are helpful when they have questions. Alex and Roxy have joined. Al Mustashar is joined. Welcome. If I don't know where you guys coming from, it's not going to be helpful. So I wonder, why is it that you guys don't let me know your age, gender, where you're tuning in from? Bobby is here from Canada, and thank you for that. And if you like to like the program or subscribe to the channel, please go ahead. That'll help us to be able to reach more people and help more people. And we have Samina says, brain made schizophrenia and more. Brain is, wow, that IT. Okay. I lost you, Samina. I don't know what the question is. There a question or a statement? Either way, I lost it. So I don't understand it quite well in order to make comment. But thank you for the comment anyhow. At least we got some activity on TikTok, and my YouTube friends tonight, unlike the usual, they're all sleeping here. So everybody's just watching, waiting for someone. It's like one of those things when you go in the classroom and a teacher asks for some kind of a comment, a question, or volunteer, and nobody moves. Everybody's waiting for somebody else to make a move, say something, open a discussion. Who's the brave one here? Who's going to say something? Never had this kind of a live stream that I have to pull teeth to get some words out from you guys. Usually we are inundated with questions and we don't get to go all of them. But tonight is actually kind of quiet night. All right, we've got another 4 minutes, and if I don't have any decent questions, I'll just cut it off and we'll maybe try some other time. A massive Al-Masiva says, I have a question. Well, go ahead. Do you want an invitation? Go ahead. This is what it is for. Put the question in. But let me know first, age, gender, where you're tuning in from. If you don't have that, I won't answer questions. And Tanya Taina joined. Mark joined. I don't know what join means. If it's joined, they must be hearing me. They must know that I'm asking to let me know their age, gender, where they're tuning in, but nobody does. So I wonder, something wrong with the system, or am I not comprehensible what I say? Nevertheless, another 3 minutes, I'm off. I'm off the hook. See, I've done my good Samaritan thing. I had a live, tried to help people. You guys are sleeping. So at least we had some fun. Maybe a couple of questions we answered, or 3, 4, 5, that's all. Short ones. Dave, Mike, and Samik. All right, you've got another 2 minutes to throw in your question, guys. Hundreds and hundreds of people here on TikTok, but none have any questions. I don't know how that works. Massive says, I'm from South Africa, 33 years. But you didn't say you're male, female, or how you signify your inclinations. And says, I enjoy being single and alone. But sometimes when I see others with kids and family, I get depressed. But mostly I enjoy being by myself. Should you get married then? I have been in 3 different marriages and I get tired of them after 1 year. Well, let me know if you're a man or a woman. And then I'll get to your question, because your question is just about if you should get married because you get depressed when you see other families. First of all, in this short paragraph, I heard you're so much enjoying your life. And by the way, he says, I'm a man. All right. So in this short paragraph, I heard assertively that you made sure that we understand that you enjoy your life the way you are, that's single. And you've been married 3 times. And you get bored, you said, which means you get married for the wrong reasons. You get married to have fun. You get married so you feel that you possessed, you conquered, you achieved, you got a girl that maybe you wanted to make yourself feel you're important by adding the value of that girl, maybe the aesthetics, beautiful, or whatever it is that made you want her. You needed to accomplish that, but not to build a family or to compromise, to learn from each other. Perhaps you just marry to have sex every night. I don't know. Because marriage, I can understand it may not work and you get divorced and maybe the next one. Okay, maybe that doesn't work. You get divorced, you get that one. But three times marrying, meaning whether you married very close to each other, like within a year or two, you haven't grown, you haven't used the experiences you had in that marriage for your next relationship, or it just means that you really are as happy as you can be when you're single. And that should tell you that you're not going to prefer marriage. But one thing is for sure, if you don't commit to building something at the age that you are, 33, when you get to be my age, it would be a little bit late to build something with someone based on experiences that you both will go through life. Having children or hardship, economic situations, you have to sacrifice, you have to back each other, you have to trust each other, you learn from the things you got to do, you shouldn't be doing, the atmosphere you create for the other ones, the attention you give, the sense of responsibility, the love and attention that you get the chance to opportunity to give. There's a tremendous satisfaction in giving the love. If you're a person who can love, you learn how to love, you want to love, you love to love. And then there would be an opportunity for you to receive love and nourish from that attention and love of the person that you care about. They allow your neurotransmitters, oxytocin, serotonin, all of these to develop inside properly and in balanced portions. The depression won't be there, maybe the anger and difficulty and challenges, but conflict and divisions are always part of two consciousnesses. And marriage and love happens in the consciousness level. So if you marry for the wrong reason, which means you might have, or rather you were immature, too early to get married, you didn't know really what marriage is. It's not just for the sex and for the fun, or that I'm grown up, I'm married and I have a wife, or this and that. For many other reasons that you will learn through this journey of life. But if you didn't marry for the right reason, to build something, to have a family, to be responsible, to be motivated because you have a family, to want to learn how to receive love and how to give love. You wanted to learn how to sacrifice and put yourself behind the other members of the family. If you can't do that, don't see it within yourself to be able to put yourself behind, and you want to be selfish and always self-centered, that you are it, rather than the family being first. All these are part of the lessons of getting married, but it's not just getting married, having children. It's a journey, and it makes you understand certain things that you may have not understood throughout your life. But then again, having said that, that doesn't mean everybody has to get married. You may not really enjoy getting married. You've tried it 3 times and you didn't. What are you waiting for? 4th or 5th and 6th or 7th times? You don't have to go through that many times. You will know. The only thing is that when you get older, you will be alone because you have no children and you have no wife. The wife, I understand, could come and go as they wish, and that's the way we live. That's how we are, the century we live in. Everybody has the right to make their own choices. So that may not last just because you got married. But if you have children, at least you will have some kind of a family. And when you get old, somebody will call you and say, Dad, how you doing? And that would mean a lot. You may not think it would mean a lot. You may feel you're tough and you don't need, but it would mean a lot. We all like to feel supported. When we're children, our father is the father figure, right? Is the one that we know is behind us, back us up. Our mother is behind us to a certain age. At a certain stage of life, then you rely on the type of a backing that you receive from your father. And your father enjoys every bit of it when you just say, hello, Dad, how are you? How was your day? How are you feeling? Even though he never needed you. But those words with your presence into his life having tea together means a lot. Same thing, when you get older, you'll be the father, and a son or a daughter calls you. So, how's it going, Dad? You have time to sit down and have some tea? That would be the world, because at that time you really have no pot to piss in, nothing to do. Pretty much when you're old enough and, shitting your pants, you would need someone to care, genuinely care. Why? Because you cared for them all their childhood life, and they'll remember. And that's the only thing. So if you're not willing to learn and sacrifice and put your wife or your girlfriend ahead of you, take care of her and create that love that she would want to love you, she would want to give you love because of the way you treat her, that she feels elated because of the way you pay attention to her, you provide for her, you treat her, then that would be an asset for you. That would be a foundation of something that you build. You cannot compare that feeling and that feeling of security and certainty with the fact that you got a couple of, dates here and there, and then you got married because she had nice legs or nice boobs or nice whatever. And then you get bored, as you said, because you're only going on one angle of the necessity of being together, maybe sex, and you get bored. But if you develop ability to connect on consciousness level, you won't get bored, because you guys get compatibility on the value, on the conscious level, and consciousness is dynamically changing. So you will both be maturing and changing and collaborating and putting the fire out in life and helping each other. And that would mean something, and that would lead into a kind of relationships that you don't want to let it go because you're bored. You can be bored of anything. Doesn't mean you just gotta stop building it or developing it. Anyway, that's the two bits that I have to say that about that in this shorter time. And Penguin is here. And Penguin says, hello, Meran. It's me, Penguin, female 18. Penguin, where from? Female 18, where from? Why you guys forget these three little things? And let's just pay attention a little bit to TikTok, because out of the blue, we have one question. Let me see. Baby girl says, I'm scared of people when they ask to see me on their deathbed. Could you explain more? Are you a nurse? Is that what you mean? Or friends or family who are close to that stage of life, transitioned, and they call you on their deathbed for some reason? I'm not sure why would they call you if it's not a profession that you have, or it's not a family friend. All right, we don't have any more question here, but there's one more towards the end of it. Here is from Josh. Josh says, awareness and peace. How do you feel love is connected to these concepts? Interesting question. Awareness and peace. Well, if you're not in peace, you cannot be really that aware. Because when you're distracted and your brain is dealing with so many things in order to accomplish what you've asked it to accomplish, or what it is necessary for you to accomplish, or what you have aimed to accomplish, or to be safe, you cannot really pay attention to what your brain is there to pay attention to, awareness. So peace is what you need to create before your awareness is at the optimum. And by peace, really, it's not about sitting somewhere that is quiet. It means to understand the inner movement of your psyche, to understand the role of thoughts and consciousness, the relationship between the two. How is thought born? How is consciousness is born? The content of the consciousness that you accumulate by the experiences you have through life. Then you got to understand, what is fear? Where does it come from? Is there such thing as fear? Then you understand desire, the power of the desire. The power of desire is so much that we don't even understand certain things that is so apparent to every one of us. Most of us think that we love women because, if that's your inclination, because they're so strong and beautiful and powerful, and because they're so qualified for their own merits and what they have accomplished in life. And when they break up with you, you feel devastated and you feel, well, I've lost something so important, so valuable. But you never focus on, where did this value come from? What did she do for me that I see that she's so valuable, that I say she's so valuable? Where did that value come from? I just met her in the street, and suddenly you're hot and bothered about her. You, what is it? What makes you to think of her so valuable and important? Well, you come back to understanding the desire. The value of that woman is equal to your desire for that woman. It's not that you really know her to know what she's done in life, what she's accomplished, so give her all that value. For that reason, you're in awe with her and you fall in love with her, whatnot. You see her right now, you desire her, and that desire is where her value, the source of her value is in your desire. So understanding all these helps you to bring about that little bit of a balance that you want in life, and not to be so swayed like a pussy willow when the wind is blowing everywhere, move so easily. You will you will create roots. You won't be like a log in the river, where the log goes wherever the river takes it, to the garbage on the banks of the river, or to here or there. Those logs become trees with roots into the riverbed, and they won't necessarily be moved by the flow of the water. The water would have to come and hit the tree trunk and open up, meaning the tree trunk, now having roots not movable so easily, will choose the nutrients from the water and let go the debris, the things doesn't want around it. And that's the society. If you don't have roots, which means if you don't understand your psyche, the society can influence you any way, shape, or form it wants. It could be the government, it could be the rules, it could be the here and there, it could be women, it could be whatever it is out there in the society, out there, they affect you when you don't understand the relationship between components of your brain and your psyche. So it is important for you to create that peace, so your awareness, by knowing all these components, will be at its optimum. And then you can judge the brain, because you're not the brain is not you. And therefore you can see and watch, be watcher of the brain, and make your choices and vetoes. A topic on this is quite a big one, but having said that, then you'll get to know who you are by knowing the inner movement of your psyche, as we just talked about. Then, therefore, you understand what you value most. So the love that you're receiving from that other side, your partner, you will not be looking at it as a physical attraction only and call it love, because that is lust. You will understand what real love is, because your expectations about the quality of love is different, because now you know the inner movement of your psyche. And the peace is created because of your knowledge about your psyche. Therefore, your awareness about you, who you are, what you want, what you expect, and the level of love and the type of love all becomes clear, and lust cannot interchange itself with love. It's similar, your question is similar to the topic of happiness and pleasure are being used interchangeably on Google and every other place in the world. We have somehow duped to think that pleasure and happiness are synonymous words. They're both the same, but it's not. Pleasure is attainable, purchasable. Happiness is not. Pleasure is dopamine, neurotransmitter dopamine, but happiness is serotonin. two different neurotransmitters. When you get pleasure, you can get more pleasure by upping that quantity of that pleasure. But when you get happy, you can't get happier. You are happy, and that's it. And the same thing here, your question about love is the same, and then awareness and peace and love in the relationship is not knowing really what love is, and you wouldn't know it as long as you don't know the inner movement of the psyche to be able to create that peace, for awareness to be at its optimum, and to create the values that you need in order to consider something it is love or lust or what else it is. That's what I can say at this short juncture without really having much thought to it. Nicola says, I compare myself to my mom to my detriment. I'm not quite sure if you give me an example. I kind of understand what you say, but not enough to make a comment of it. So if you don't mind, I'd appreciate maybe a helpful hint there. Baby girl says, no family. No family? I don't understand what that means, unless you had other questions here that you started this question. No? And the baby girl says, my older sister who treated me very badly my whole life. I'm sorry, it still doesn't fit together. Josh Daniel says, so much truth. Such an interesting answer. I don't know which answer you're talking about, but thank you. It's about the awareness. Okay, yeah, okay, great. I'm delighted that you enjoyed it. And Josh says, thank you. You're quite welcome. Some comment in this live were filtered to protect the community experience. Yeah, well, let me decide that. I don't know what community experience you're talking about. We can hardly talk about anything. Anything we say, you just say, oh, it's against the community guidelines. So I don't know what the nonsense is saying here. Anyhow, so Penguin says, hello, Mehran. It's me, Penguin, female 18. I still suffering from HOCD, but I don't obsess it over it too much now. But sometimes when I see something related to same gender, like I get the feeling, I feel excited seeing it. Yeah. And then she says, for example, I encountered online animation on special media where it was some gender female kissing. My mind says I feel like I like seeing that. It's scary and horrible to feel this way. I feel this, don't feel anything of this point. Like when I get the feeling of excitement, I just say, okay, and move on, like I feel dumb. Well, your brain makes intrusive thoughts, as I mentioned, 80, 90,000 times a day. And it doesn't, what's the word? Discriminate between what intrusive thought it makes. It uses all the inventory, whatever you've been exposed to, whatever you have seen on internet, animations, people's lifestyle, choices are out there, propaganda, and whatever it is out there that you have through books and films and movies and videos or whatever it is, television program discussions, all that information is recorded in your brain. And when the brain falls into the malfunction in the caudate nucleus, basal ganglia, and the striatum, and one of the levers there in the striatum being the caudate nucleus, when the malfunction happens there, then these intrusive thoughts that are constantly happening in the normal non-OCD brain, when an intrusive thought happens, you say, ooh, that's nasty, and then boom, shuts down, and you go on and you forget about it. But the duration of the time between exposure to that intrusive thought and forgetting about the intrusive thought takes longer in an OCD brain. And often the caudate nucleus is actually malfunctioning, so it doesn't shut down that intrusive thought. So you become aware of it because it didn't shut it down and dissipate. It's not working. It's got a glitch. And because of that, it takes your attention. And that, what it is against your values, your inclination, yet it creates that kind of a danger signal that amygdala is sending to protect you, because it's something other than what you're used to or you're accustomed to or you prefer has shown up and creates a certain kind of a danger. That danger brings anxiety to you, and that anxiety moves blood around you, which could cause actually arousal. But that has nothing to do with your preference or inclination or choice. It has to do with the body reacting to thought, which is created by the brain, and brain has that power to make body react. But that reaction is a physical reaction, is not your choice. A brain has that power. And just like if you close your eyes and imagine you're in France with a tour guide and with a tour, and a tour guide takes you all in a vineyard, and then you're closing your eyes right now, imagining what I'm saying. In the vineyard, it's just out of season. All the grapes are green and sour like hell. And so he gives a cluster of green grapes to every one of you, and you all bite into it, and you say, holy my goodness, it's so sour. And then right after it gives you a wedge of a lime, and you just squeeze it in your mouth. Oh my goodness, it's even more sour. If you notice, if you really focus what I said, right now you have more saliva in your mouth than you usually have because of this imagination. But there is no lime available. There was no sour grape right now that you bit into it. But the brain has the power to make the body to react to something that is not even in existence. So it can also make you react emotionally or physically to an inclination, to a suggestion, to an image, to an intrusive thought that is not in line with your values, but you get a reaction in your body. And that is what you're dealing with, which is not to do with your interest, but to do with the brain's activity for intrusive thoughts, which does to every single one of us on earth. But then there's a glitch, malfunction in the closing lever of these intrusive thoughts, which are not in line with your value. Therefore, it hovers and you think it means something. And you think these reactions are because of the suggestion. These reactions are because of the brain has created something. It's not dissipating. Therefore, it affects the body to actually react to what the brain suggests. That's as much as I can really shorten a long discussion of the intrusive thoughts and OCD and HOCD. All right, we have says my sister wants to see me. She doesn't have much time for living, baby girl says, and therefore says my older sister who treated me very badly my whole life is the one who wants to see me, and she has no family. I guess that's what I'm interpreting what you're saying. And then you say, that's why you said, I'm scared of people when they ask me to see me on their deathbeds. I see. Now I kind of understand. Well, do you think this is more difficult? Or if you don't see them and they pass by and you feel like I couldn't comply and provide their last wish? That's going to be more painful because it stays with you for the rest of your life. But if you go see her, the pain of it will stay with you for a while, but it will eventually dissipate and you will forget about that experience. But something that you think morally was right for you to do or you should have done and you didn't, that question is going to be the problem. Not the fact that you didn't go. You didn't go, you didn't want to go, and you didn't go. That's all right. No harm done. You didn't cause any problem for you. You just didn't want to go and you didn't. But the question about it, between your morality and content of your conscious condition that you've received in your consciousness culturally or morality or whatever, is going to cause the problem. That's where the problem is going to be. So might as well go see her and see what you can do to comfort her and forget about the whole life that she's done bad to you. That's pretty much neither here nor there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't come to the picture anymore. Whatever you could have done, you should have done while she was alive and she was there and strong and treating you badly. You should have done what you've done. If you haven't, it's not the time now, because you don't want to retaliate to someone who's weak. At the height of their strength, you defend yourself, you do what you do. If you didn't, for whatever reason, now that they're at their deathbed, it's not the time to, piss on them or anything like that. So go there, do your best, put a good smile on, extend positive energy. You will be happier when you come out. You'll be happier and she will be happy as well. We're all going to go someday. And so it's not something that you could use it to even up the field, for example. All right, let's go to Massive Ali Al-Masiva says, I asked before if you was married because if you became older, will I regret not having family and children? That's why I get unsure sometimes by enjoying being single, have high salary job and house. But you are 33 years old. So why don't you continue your enjoyment of your single life for another 3 or 4 or 5 years. When you reach about 35, 36, 37, 38, that's when you look to get married, because that's the time you will be answering the question that you're asking me right now. Right now, you would be relying on my answer based on my experience and my understanding of this journey of life. At that age, you have already come to an answer because you've done the fuck around so much, and you see that if you get bored by getting married, you get bored by this fucking around because it gets nowhere and it's never enough. There's always going to be another prettier girl. There's always going to be another girl that you can wow or, woo, or you can spend time with or go on a travel with, and she will put her nice clothes on for you, and then lovey-dovey for a while. Then the problems starts, conflicts and divisions within consciousness starts with everyone. So it's not like you can wait until you find someone that doesn't have these problems with you. We all will have at one point or another. That's the part that you need to experience, not with anybody, with someone that you think is basically very compatible to you, but still going to be big problems. At that age, 37, 38, you've already come to the conclusion that I want that shit, because this shit doesn't go anywhere. And there's never going to be enough. There's always going to be another girl. And by sleeping with her and going out with her, my craving for girls doesn't end. But what happens is you get to be living alone for so long that even when the right girl, in your opinion, at the time of your life, appears and comes into your life, you have a hard time living with her because you become conditioned to be living by yourself. You love to be in bed with her. You love to do things with her, but that's only for a day or two. Then your habit comes back on, I want my own space. I want to be myself. But being together and eventually getting married at the beginning may be a little bit difficult. At the beginning, very easy because the excitement of the new things and all that. But then a little bit you become bored, and that's when you actually divorce every time. I bet you your marriage didn't last more than 2 or 3 years each. That's the time that you got to endure it, because once you pass that bridge of kind of feeling uncomfortable because you don't have your own time, you don't have your friends anymore, or you can't have them, or she wants something, or there's fights going on, and all that eventually ends because you guys will compromise. If you're smart enough, you'll talk about things, you communicate better, you get rid of these wrinkles, and you'll be able to tolerate and respect each other to a certain point that creates that tranquility and ability to be in an atmosphere that you can actually carry a relationship. And once that happens, the rest of it's going to be just the tribulations and the waves of the normal life, that discrepancies and misunderstandings or lack of compatibility happens in now and then in many other things. But it wouldn't be, the reason wouldn't be that you want to be alone because you can't be together, you get bored and all that. You've done all that to the age of 38 and so on, and you actually want to settle down and not chasing girls anymore and not really thinking being single is that great. So you'll come to that decision yourself, on yourself, by yourself. All right, guys, I think we have answered. Any of you enjoyed the program, please do like the live, and please do join and subscribe to either YouTube channel or the TikTok, and let others know that there is a channel that has over 3,000 videos on topics of I mentioned. And let's see, and topics that we mentioned, and then you can get help by looking at the videos, whether it's about relationship, breakups, thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego, OCD, HOCD, different subsets of OCD, and so on and so forth. So having said all that, it's time for me to mosey on and get on with other things tonight, which is already late, but I like to, make some tea and watch maybe a movie or something and chill. That's the time of the day. Usually nobody needs me. No clients, no nothing. Any of you who wanted to talk with me one-on-one outside of the live stream, you can go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com. Mindthatseekstruth.com. And you can make an appointment and we'll discuss what's concerning you one-on-one on Skype. In the meantime, it's time for me to say goodnight. I love you all. Thank you very much for being here. Give me the opportunity to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to our next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.